Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am, of course, Darnok with TGN, bringing you game number 2 of this best of 3 series. The second map is going to be Tal the Rim Altar. In the lower right, we have the blue Protoss player MLG Shew, the loser of that previous game, throwing out the good luck, have fun before MVP does. So he wins that small battle at least. His opponent going to be all the way across, as far apart as they could possibly be. That's going to be the red Terran player. I am MVP, playing under the ID of Anonymous right now. Anonymous. There we go. That's how you pronounce that word. Words are hard, ladies and gentlemen. They are very, very difficult things to completely grasp and master. But MVP playing very, very well that previous game. And again, it was kind of weird that Shew decided to go for that Nexus first on Shakura's Plateau. Not really a map where we see Nexus first too often, and MVP beautifully illustrating why that is, as he had that relatively early scout, saw that the Nexus came down first, correctly identified, you know what, you're actually not going to have a whole lot of actual gateway units, and went for some early game pressure, got a huge, huge economic lead, and then a little bit after that was able to ride that to a very, very strong timing attack with those Marines and Marauders. And there was, past that first initial pressure from MVP, there was really no point in that game where Shew was really in charge and had a chance to be able to win that. He was just behind and behind. There were Marines and Marauders on his doorstep almost that entire game, and that was just very, very messy for our Protoss player indeed. Now, I'm wondering if he's going to go for a Nexus first again, and it looks as if he will. This is actually totally okay. This is a much, much better map to go Nexus first on than Shakura's Plateau, as this is just such a massive map. So big. But that was actually an interesting choice from Shew, because with this Nexus, he's actually stating that he feels relatively comfortable against MVP, and whether that is bravery or hubris, you will have to decide, because MVP is really, really good, and Shew, not the strongest player. I mean, if you go look at his TLPD, he has a decent ranking. He's won against some pretty good players. He's lost against a lot of pretty good players as well. And Shew apparently decided to not go into the main base of MVP for a reason I don't know. He came over here, scouted the front door, and I guess he just really, really wanted to keep that probe alive rather than go into the main base and see, okay, MVP, what's going on with your gases? Now, MVP does do this build a lot. He loves the gasless 1 barracks fast expand. I mean, MVP, a guy who always has a different build for every situation, but this is one he always does come back to, as it's just good, man. You're pretty safe against early game pressure, especially on a big map like this, because you get that barracks up at the normal time, but you also get a super duper fast command center. So there's a lot to love about this build. If you play Terran on the ladder, like my little brother does, you should totally steal this build from MVP. Watch a replay of him doing this. Do exactly what he does, because it's just great, and it will get you a very, very good. It'll get you in a very good situation to go into the mid-game, is what I am trying to say. Now, back in Shew's base, he does have 1 gateway up, does have a cybernetics core out, does have his gas up, just the 1 right now, doesn't have any more. Should add on the second one here, at least pretty shortly, as Protoss is, of course, a gas-heavy race. I actually, though, would not be surprised if he was going to go for some sort of large gateway timing attack, and he's trying to save up a lot of minerals to throw down a large amount of gateways, which is possible he'll do after this SCV gets out of here, because, again, setting yourself up to go into a macro game against MVP tends to not work out very well. Obviously, there are players that can do it. MMA 4-1 has, of course, out-macroed MVP. Bomber is another Terran that was able to do it, but it's hard, man. Not a lot of people can do it, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Shew go for some flavor of timing attack. Now, he might not. He might be confident in his play, or at least not want to bet his entire, not entire MLG career, as he is in the winner's round. He can go into that loser's bracket and keep playing, but still, you don't want to get knocked out earlier than you do, and you might not want to bet all of that on a timing attack. Now, I see MVP in his base powering very, very hard, has added on a 3rd barracks still, or 3 more barracks. That's the way you say that phrase, and he still has not added on any gas whatsoever, actually, so he's just building as many SCVs and Marines as humanly possible, just getting those cheap, only mineral units out as quickly as he can, and you'll see he is already up to 26 SCVs. Now, of course, Shew does have 35 probes, just because he did go for Nexus first, and he has Chrono Boost, which is pretty damn awesome, and you see pretty much this entire game, he has been Chrono Boosting his Nexi. Nexuses? Nexi? Not sure the plural of that. His Nexus buildings to get as many probes out as possible. So it looks as if he is... Okay, I see what's going on. He is going to go for a 2-base Blink aggression play over here, as he does add on that 4th gateway, is getting that Twilight Council as well, has added on Assimilator number 2, should get 3 and or 4 pretty quickly here, as well as getting Blink Stalkers, and in fact required for Blink Stalkers does require some gas, but we do see that MVP going to be pushing out across the map right now with a bunch of Marines. What does Shew have right now? Not a whole lot. A couple of Stalkers, a Zealot as well. Now he does have 3 gateways out right now. He's going to be getting them into Warp Gate mode pretty quickly here. One of them already there. The other 2 should morph pretty quickly. So I do believe Shew should be able to hold this off, though he might take some damage here. 1 Stalker already dead. He doesn't have a whole lot of Zealots, which is really, really helpful against Pure Marine. You want a little bit of a better unit mixture when you are going against Pure Marine like this. But he does have a bunch of Stalkers, which are, of course, once again, very good at microing against those Marines. Has lost 2 or 3 already, though. It's not the best micro in the world, but it is doing pretty well. Hasn't taken any serious damage. Just a few Stalkers and that pylon have fallen, but now we see MVP stutter stepping his way into that mineral line. He's already killed quite a few probes, and he's going to try and engage these Stalkers directly. I don't know if that's the strongest idea, as there are 6 Stalkers out right now, and Stalker's pretty good. And yeah, you'll see all those Marines do get taken down. Now Marines continue to stream across the map, but MVP is going to start turning them around. Look at that. There's just like... This is like Snake or something. There's just one continuous stream of Marines over here. But of course, that's what happens when you do have 4 barracks, which is a large number. But back at home, during all that, MVP has gone for an engineering bay, researching +1 attack. Does have a tech lab. It is researching STEM, and he's getting a 3rd command center very, very quickly. So he's pretty much ignoring tech for the most part. Hasn't gotten a factory or a starport or anything like that yet, and is just going for that high economy. Which is very strong. Again, MVP, a fantastic macro player. But this is... Okay, Shew is doing 2 interesting things right now. One, he's taking a pretty quick 3rd base, and it's unlikely that MVP will spot this. It's not impossible. This is one of the more typical places to take your 3rd base, but it's not the most typical. The most typical, of course, is this area with the destructible rocks. But Shew going to take a quasi-hidden 3rd base over here, which is pretty sneaky. Also, from this Twilight Council, we're going to see charge before Blink, which is rather surprising. We see a 5th gateway coming out as well, and he also... Okay, now he's actually starting to add on some new unit tech over here, getting that Templar Archives. But I was going to say, neither player really climbing that tech tree very much as far as units go. They're just sticking to their tier 1 and getting some upgrades for them, but we do see that Templar Archives on the way. So we are going to see Charge Lots and Archon from Shew here, which can be a very, very strong unit composition. Those melee or near melee units can tear apart a Marine Marauder Ball very, very quickly if you do engage it right. However, if you engage it incorrectly, your entire army is just going to die and you're going to lose the game, because Marines and Marauders pretty damn good. But if you engage it right, if you get a nice surround and all that business, then things are pretty good. Now, we did see that SCV move in to try and scout Shew. It did get killed relatively quickly, but it may have seen these probes transferring. I'm not sure if it caught a glimpse of that or not. So if it did, MVP may be oh my goodness, what's the word? Darnock, you're so silly. He may have been tipped off. There it is. Phrases are almost as difficult as words, ladies and gentlemen. But he was he may be tipped off. He may be tipped off, but that's the 3rd base down here. So we're going to see if he decides to scout that in the near future. Excuse me, I had a frog in my throat. But MVP has taken down his 3rd base rocks. He's going to fly over the location to land. There we go. Realizes that orbital command was a little bit misaimed. And he is going to land it down there, so he's now up on 3 base, equal to Shew. And if MVP doesn't know that Shew has a 3rd base, which he hasn't seen with his own eyes at least, then he might make some moves that could mess him up. However, it looks as if he's headed right towards that 3rd, and that's going to be really, really bad for Shew. He doesn't really have a great... Oh no, Shew does not have any sort of army with which to be able to repel MVPs right now. He does have quite a few High Templars, but they do not have Storm yet. It's 10 seconds away from finishing in game time. They are going to have quite a bit of energy when it does finish, and oh, there's the scan from MVP. MVP knows he can do whatever he wants with this 3rd base right now. He's going to kill the units that were warped in there in a one move of desperation. But now we do see, oh, and even the cancel on one of those pylons there, and oh my goodness, this is an incredible engagement from MVP right now. Now we do see a storm going down. Oh my goodness, the High Templars getting caught out of position. A few units going to kill all of these High Templars before they get off a single storm. Maybe one will go down. One big storm does go down from Shew, and he does kill a whole lot of units with that. And is he actually going to survive this? Both players with pretty crappy armies right now, just fighting tooth and nail. And we do have 2 medevacs arriving just in the nick of time to start healing this Marauder. It is going to die eventually, and it looks as if MVP is going to be forced lift up, going to land into the main. There is a Zealot in the area. No High Templars, though, so no feedbacks for those units. And that one Zealot, totally badass, does kill the Marauder all by himself and sends that Marine packing. But that was a nail-biting defense from Shew right there. He was in a lot of trouble until he got that miracle high Templar. That's not a verb. Until he got that miracle size storm down. But will he be able to do it a second time? Another large group of Marines and Marauders streaming across the map. And this time Shew looks as if he's in a lot of trouble. If we look at the army supply graphic up there, you see 78 for MVP. 34 for Shew, so he is going to lose this third base. Just took him a little bit longer to do it. Behind this, we do see that MVP is taking a fourth. He has more and more units. He actually must have a gazillion barracks in his main base, and a gazillion is actually the number he does have. Holy crap. He has a total of 7 barracks in his base right now, which is quite a few units. And Shew in some trouble here. Does have 1 Archon out. Some Zealots. He has a few there. Storm going down over here, trying to get rid of some of these units. Looks like it was slightly misplaced, though. And this is always annoying how units can actually hit that gas. That's so irritating, no matter what race you play. But there is a drop in the main right now, killing all sorts of things. Took down a lot of probes. It does appear, taking a look at the Workers Guild. Oh my god, the carnage. 39 probes have been killed by MVP thus far, so he has been destroying the mineral lines of Shew right now. Shew even supply blocked at this point in the game. Try and take down this factory. These Zealots wish they could use their leg upgrades to jump and stab their side blades into the belly of that factory, but unfortunately that was not an upgrade. We see Shew trying to take a third base over here. There is a drop gun trying to put an end to that, though, and Shew in a lose-lose situation right now. He either comes and defends against the drop and loses to this main army, or he defends against that main army and loses to the drop. And it looks as if the drop is going to be scared away, but this Nexus is very softened up. And it looks like we're going to have a drop go right back into the main. There are quite a few Zealots in the area right now. Feedback goes down on that medevac, so obviously that drop, not the most successful thing in the world, but another drop going down in the natural. MVP all over the place, all over the map at once. He backs out there, but he's bringing the bulk of his main army. Excuse me, he is bringing the bulk of the main army over to the new third right now. Gonna see if he can take that down. Big storms going down, not dealing huge amounts of damage, but really forcing the Terran army to retreat. But oh no, we have 4 ghosts on the field. Huge EMPs going down, hitting almost everything. There are some High Templars left with energy, but not too many. There are actually able to have enough to throw down a Psy Storm. Not sure why I'm having such trouble with that today, but another drop goes down into the natural. Another drop going down into the main. MVP unrelenting here, and we do see huge storms going down on his army, but I don't think it's going to be enough, ladies and gentlemen. Shew is almost out of storms. I think he is completely out of storms now. He does have quite a few Archons over here, and he's going to be able to get an okay engagement with those, but it's just not enough. Doesn't have enough Archons, doesn't have enough Zealots to back that up, and now we do see that Shew is in his last moments of life here in the winner's bracket of MLG Providence. Probes trying to take down that Marauder. Are they going to be able to do it? No, they are not. And then Shew throws out the GG, well played, and leaves the game. So that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. MVP does 2-0 Shew. He does move on in the winner's bracket. The open winner's bracket, I might add. Neither of these guys have made it to the championship quite yet. Shew going to drop down to the loser's bracket, but he is still in it. Still played pretty decently against MVP this game. He didn't completely get run over like he did in that previous game. He gave him somewhat of a fight, but MVP obviously very dominant this entire game. So thank you folks for watching. I have been Darnock, of course. Follow me on Twitter, at DarnockRiss. Subscribe to the StarCraft 2 show. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers for the StarCraft 2 show specifically, which would be absolutely awesome if we were to make that, because I don't know, 3,000 is just a big number, and I like it. It's not like a milestone like 10,000 or 5,000 or anything like that, but every 1,000 does count, and oh my goodness. Oh, I thought these were command centers. Never mind. I thought MVP was doing a little bit of BM, but they're not, unfortunately. That's a lot of barracks. Wow. Thank you folks for watching. I'm going to go away now. I'm going to stop wasting your time, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.